Satchel from Steel Panther. You're listening to Metal Stream Radio with Metal Matt, and he is totally naked from the waist down.
Hello, hooray, let the show begin. I've been ready. And here we are with another Metal Matt show for Metal Stream Radio. And by the time you're listening to this, I will probably be in sunny Spain because I'm heading there with my wife on the trip back to England, Inglaterra. Obviously, if you know me by now, I live out in Mexico these days. And yeah, I'm taking a trip back to England, and yeah, it's going to be fun, but on the way we're going to Madrid and Barcelona. Has it worked out the flights are cheapest if you go via Spain? So I thought, well, we might as well stay there for a couple of days, check it all out. So yeah, I'll be enjoying sunny Spain. I'll be ready to tell you all about it once I'm back. So yeah, I'm just here now to give you a really cool show. We're gonna, a little bit later in the show, we're gonna have an interview with Mantas from Venom, Jeff Dunn, otherwise known as, and you may have heard him with Venom Inc., and he's doing various projects now, Mantas and Abaddon's Venom, the two originals of the lineup, you know, doing different projects and shows. They're doing a lot of different shows at different festivals around Europe and different places, so that's really exciting for the Venom fans out there. But this is an old interview from like a year or two ago, but probably the best interview I've done in terms of just really hitting it off with the guest and having a really interesting, in-depth conversation, you know. As an interviewer and a musician myself, you know, I have a lot of interest in the kind of stories these guys have to tell, you know, because, you know, us aspiring singers and songwriters and people who are, you know, making music, it's great to hear how it all started for other musicians alike. And, you know, black metal, you know, they basically invented a genre with that album, you know. The genre of black metal started with Venom. So, you know, this is a guy who was, you know, a huge part of a genre, you know, not only just a band, but a genre that is so popular even today and has evolved so much since. So we talk a bit about that. We talk a bit about how the heavy metal kind of all started, or the black metal more so, how that all started, and whether he agrees that they started black metal. So yeah, stay tuned to see whether he agrees himself. So yeah, great conversation with Mantas. That's going to be playing just in around half-hour mark, and yeah, it's a great conversation I had with him. But until then, I'm going to be playing some great music and just chatting with you guys. And like I say, I'm very excited for my trip to Spain. It's going to be super fun. First time ever going there. I hear there's a good metal scene over there, so I'll be looking out for like metal bars, rock bars, and, you know, maybe I'll meet some fans while I'm there. You know, if anyone's in Barcelona or Madrid, you know, always great to meet the fans. I met a few fans when I was living in England, you know, randomly, people coming up to me saying, "Are you Metal Matt?" When I was in Weatherspoons once, where I lived, funnily enough, they were like, "Are you Metal Matt? I don't expect you to see me." They said, "I didn't expect to see you in my local Weatherspoons." I was like, "Yeah, well, it's my local Weatherspoons too." So that's why I'm there. But yeah, it was funny. But yeah, and once in Bath, some guy come up to me, said, "Are you Metal Matt?" And I was like, "Yeah." But I never know what to say. I'm like, "Yeah." You know, but yeah, it's nice when that happens. But yeah, it'd be great to see, you know, see if there's any people who've been following my music, you know, over in Spain, because it's my first time heading there, and obviously I'll be in England for a bit, so yeah, be great to be back for a while and kind of go to some gigs. We're seeing the Hollywood Vampires. My wife's first time and my first time seeing them. I've seen Alice Cooper a lot of times, that's why I'm going, and also to give my wife an experience because she's never really been to a proper rock show, and this is in Cardiff Castle, and you know, it's Alice Cooper, Johnny Depp, Joe Perry. I think it's fun, you know, it's just going to be fun, so much fun. So yeah, you might hear ambulances and stuff going on, and it's always like that here in Mexico, and also rain. There's a lot of rain right now. We've had no electricity actually the past like 2 hours, and I'm only just coming back now with electricity. So I'm here to say hello to you all. now that the electricity's back. So yeah, that's it. But I'm glad the electric's back because, you know, it's quite weird. It's kind of you don't realise how privileged you are, you know, living in the UK and things when you can have drink tap water and you can have electricity like all the time. There's never a power outage there. But here, yeah, it happens pretty often. If there's a rainstorm, all the power's out, no air cons, humidity rises to the extreme, so you're sweating, no fans, no aircon, no nothing, and you got to rely on hopefully a breeze. You got to open the door and stand out almost in the thunderstorm to refresh yourself. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's good because it teaches you things. It's like every time I need water, I got to go to the shop and carry this. I don't know how many litres it is. I'll go and check actually, but it's like this big plastic canister thing of water. I'm just looking at it now. How many ounces or litres or whatever? Where is it? Struggling to find it actually. It should be right there on the 20 litres. 20 litres of agua, as they call it here. So yeah, 20 litres thing on my back every week, because that's the only water you can drink here, so yeah, I gotta carry a big thing of water on my back every week, and then when it runs out, it's like, oh, I've got to do that again. And like I say, the electricity's on and off and all that kind of stuff. But the nice thing, there's a lot of street cats here, and I mean, it's not nice because they're street cats, it's sad, but we've got a lot that hang around our house, and they know we feed them and give them water, and street dogs sometimes pass by. We've had one the past week who I've been feeding, and yeah, try and do our bit for the animals over here. It's kind of sad because in England you don't get that. The second you see a stray dog, it's like you call whoever and they come out and get it, within an hour or whatever. But here it's like they're just roaming around, and I think some of them are happy, the street dogs here, but it's always a sad situation. In fact, later on in my interview with Mantas, he lives out in Portugal, I think it is, and he rescues a lot of cats, and he's built a thing outside for them, and we talk a bit about that too. And so we're kind of living similar lives actually somewhat, but I think when I interviewed him, I'm pretty sure I did that interview in England. I wasn't out in Mexico yet, I don't believe. So yeah, things have changed. It's mad how life changes, You've always got to kind of remember that life changes, things evolve, things change, and that's why when we're down in the dumps, you got to remember things do change very rapidly, very quickly, So yeah, stay positive out there. I know mental health is very important, amongst the metal community and all communities, and the good thing about heavy metal is it is a great community. So we can all stick together and get through hard times, tough times. It's important to know that things always come out differently. There's you can't predict it. Nothing stays the same. Life is ever evolving, and you're gonna have ups and downs, but things always come through the other side. But anyway, that's my little note for today. Stay positive, and I'll get into some music now. So here is a little Venom to get you ready for our interview with Mantas here for Metal Stream Radio. This is In League with Satan. track there. Always love that drumming, that tribal kind of drum beat, by Abaddon. And obviously Mantas's riffs are awesome. Kronos' very evil vocals, very great, very theatrical. It's funny, I love the black metal. I'm not a big fan of satanic stuff, really, because I'm a believer in the Lord and, positive, high energy, high frequency stuff. But with heavy metal, I think there's a lot of kind of theatre and, I think that's fine, and, it's okay, I think, if it's for theatrical purpose. You can sing and write and make films about anything, but it's all about the intention, and what actually worries me more is the pop music where they do these stage shows which are pretty satanic and, it's actually supposed to be, people think it's for, teenagers or whatever, teenage girls, these kind of pop songs, people like, I can't even think now, Doja Cat and stuff with these very satanic imagery. But for a pop song, it's like, it's not really necessary. Heavy metal, it's like, yeah, it's, it kind of suits the sound. But, some of these different pop stars use really kind of out there imagery, and it's kind of, you get the vibe they believe it, which is where it gets scarier. So I think pop music is the real threat, although people have always worried about heavy metal and, the intentions of heavy metal, like, you see these, like the Twisted Sister music videos where the dad is always like, turn that racket down, and, your parents' worst nightmare if you're into heavy metal type of thing. Although my dad loves heavy metal, so it wasn't the case for me. That's what got me into it, Grew up on Alice Cooper and stuff. So yeah, but it's a funny thing where pop music is probably the real threat. There's a lot of hidden imagery and hidden messages, I think, in pop music, whereas metal's pretty in your face and kind of almost jokey, almost, there's a comedy element and to the themes often, So yeah, it's a funny little thing that. But anyway, into some more Venom now with a great song off the black metal album, probably my favourite. I love Mantas' guitar solo on this one, and it's a really creepy song. Talking of theatrics, you can't get any more theatrical than this one. This is Buried Alive.
We are brought forth unto this world with nothing, and with nothing we depart. So I commend this body to the ground with loving remembrance, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Just a dream. Summon the dead. Baphomet's call. Blood on my hands. Let
there we have it, Buried Alive, ready to go into the next song though, which I'm sure you all know. It's a great album, black metal, because it all kind of flows, you know. It's quite weird to isolate the tracks almost like this, because you know, it's nice to hear it as a whole, you know. But yeah, very, very cool album, and, you know, one of the few bands that really made it big, you know. There's a lot of bands around the time, you know. Obviously, Venom come straight out of Newcastle, and a lot of people found them as just noise, and, you know, you either loved them or you hated them kind of thing, but I love them, and my dad certainly loved them. That was his band kind of thing, and yeah, he always loved it. The first album he got was a big black metal album, and yeah, they were one of those bands which I think people like to have them to themselves. You know, it was kind of like a nice thing sometimes when you feel like that's your band, you know, and because of the nature of their music, and that some people just hated them and the press hated them. It's kind of the people who did like them and understood what they were doing and got it, kind of, you could feel almost exclusive to you, you know, that's your band. So yeah, that's always a fun thing. I always felt like that with Judas Priest, although Judas Priest got a bit more wider appeal, but at the same time they're one of those bands out here in Mexico. People are always asking me, what's your favourite song or your favourite band, and I'm like, oh, Judas Priest, you know, and they're like, Judas what? I'm like, come on. Unfortunately, they don't seem to know the British heavy metal out here as much as they do the American stuff, like Bon Jovi, Sweet Child of Mine. Not Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses. That's all I think of with Guns N' Roses. Sweet Child of Mine. You know, all that rubbish. Nah, it's not rubbish. It's good stuff. It's commercial, you know. But yeah, it's not my cup of tea. I prefer the real heavy metal, you know. But no, it's good. It's good songs. It's good kind of for commercial stuff. It's good, you know. But it's kind of all you hear here, you know, in Mexico on the radio. It's either Mexican stuff or it's like those bands, or Four Non-Blondes. Funny enough, they're the one other thing you hear a lot. What's up or whatever. What's going on? You hear that one a lot. You hear Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine. Motley Crue's pretty big over here in Mexico, but yeah, it's different because I've sang in a few bands and they're like, oh, they want to do Rammstein and they want to do Motley Crue, and I'm like, I don't really listen to that stuff, you know. I'm a British heavy metal guy. I love Venom, Sabbath, Priest, you know, Dio, not British, but you know, I love all that kind of stuff, Dio and Black Sabbath with Dio, and you know, I'm more classic heavy metal. I'm generally the British heavy metal, I guess. But yeah, because there's a bit of a difference here. It can be hard in bands and stuff, the stuff they kind of expect you to do. Obviously, there's always a bit of AC/DC, which I'm on board with. I love AC/DC. Always loved them growing up. So yeah, but it's been a challenge as a singer out here. I was offered a Dream Theater gig, actually, last week to do a tribute to Dream Theater, but I don't listen to them, and the songs are complex, you know. And as a singer, it's like, the effort I'd have to put in to actually learn all that stuff, and then, you know, just for one little tribute gig or whatever, it's like, nah, I can't be doing that. You know, I'd rather just sing the stuff I'm good at. If you want me to do a Priest tribute, Sabbath tribute, something like that, AC/DC maybe, I'd probably do it, you know. But some things are just like difficult, you know. But that's the thing as a singer. It's good to keep your options open and learn as many things as you can. Queen, I'd be happy to do. You know, there's certain bands I'm comfortable with, and there's certain stuff I just never listen to. I know the stuff. I've heard the odd song and stuff, but you know, it's one thing knowing the odd song and having to do a tribute and convincingly perform that stuff. So yeah, there's definitely challenges you have as a singer and kind of opportunities you don't want to pass, but sometimes you have to. I was also offered to sing in London once, a gig, a Crimson Glory tribute, but I never listened to Crimson Glory, so it's like, oh, you know, yeah, it sounds great, but it's going to be a lot of learning, you know. I can't do it really, you know. So yeah, but I'm always open to projects. I'm open to guest vocal spots on people's songs. I've done a bit of that over the years. That's always fun. I'm kind of more of a kind of original song kind of guy, and kind of working on stuff at home and putting it out there for you guys to enjoy, you know, making original songs and stuff and covers as well. But projects like that where I can kind of just put my head to it and put my mind to it and kind of write stuff and stuff like that, I enjoy that, I guess, more than live performing. But I do enjoy live performing sometimes and kind of for a while, you know. But I'm quite an introverted person really, so I'm not into like being out there too much, you know. I kind of enjoy working on stuff and actually kind of putting the work into a song and releasing it, and that's kind of fun for me. Rather than just getting out every night on a stage, it's not something I need to do. It's fulfilling to an extent, but it's also like I don't need to prove myself. I'm not trying to prove myself. I purely enjoy being creative and making the songs and stuff like that. Covers and performing covers a lot and stuff can be just kind of creatively uninteresting. It's kind of not everything. It's fun to get out there and sing a few songs you like and see people enjoying themselves, but the main thing for me is original stuff and creating something unique and trying to do something new, because all us musicians are trying to do something new. Everything's been done, so if you can try and come up with something new, I think that's good. And here's a song which I recently dropped called Let's Change History. I worked on it with a girl called Sophia, who's done a lot of projects with me. She did Mexico. She composes the music, does an excellent job, and this is a song which is pretty different, I'd say. In a way, there is nothing like it. It's got elements of, Judas Priest and stuff I like, with the high notes, or King Diamond, whoever you want to compare it to. But also it's quite unique, and it's kind of got everything. Sometimes I try and include so many different styles just in one song, and I feel this is one song that did that. So yeah, this is Let's Change History. It's out on all the platforms. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. And there we have Let's Change History. I hope you enjoyed that one. It's kind of obscure, a bit weird, but it's much like me. I'm pretty weird and obscure as well. That's why my music's like that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Who wants to be conventional and conformist? Certainly not me. The beauty of life is in kind of freedom and, not going along with just rules all the time and just, stuff that we're all expected to go along with, 9 to 5 jobs all the time, and, just conformity till you die kind of thing. Very much against that, so I try and be different and obscure, I guess, if that's the right word. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that one. I love the music. I love what Sophia did with that one, and yeah, it's a really cool track. Musically, I can't say that about me singing because I'm the singer. I don't know what people think of it, but I try and do something weird and a bit different. And the music I think was great, and it had all the hooky parts which I could work with, and give it a good, interesting chorus. I think it had quite a kind of straightforward kind of chorus, kind of typical kind of metal thing, which I was happy about. I always like to have that hooky chorus, but also other elements which were very kind of different and unexpected. You kind of didn't know which way the song was going to go, so that's something I enjoyed about that a lot. So yeah, glad you enjoyed. If you did, if you didn't, well, I don't care. But anyway, this is Mantas now from Venom, joining me to have a great conversation about so many things, from spirituality to black metal to cats, or gatitos as they say out here in Mexico. So hope you enjoy. This is Metal Matt from Metal Stream Radio. See you next week. So today I'm here with Mantas, or Jeff Dunn, from Venom Inc. and Venom, of course. So great to have you on the channel. I'm really glad you've agreed to do this. So thanks for coming on today.
No problem. No problem.
Bro, so I'm just going to, I thought I'd kind of start in the beginning, really. I know you've probably answered these things a million times, but just to touch on the early days and the kind of sound. I think many know you're really the band that were seen as the ones who started black metal. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it just, I've got to say, it does make me giggle a little bit when I see these debates on who started black metal. It's like, right, here's the question for you. What would the genre be called if we didn't have a song and an album called black metal? And if we didn't say we are black metal, right?
That's it, yeah.
It's as simple as that. I mean, do you know what it is? I've had so many questions and so many sort of debates about it. And it's like, oh, come on, man. I mean, people say about Bathory and all this. It's like, okay, Bathory. So where did he get that name from? Countess Bathory, by any chance? It's like, I mean, the first, like, I've got no disrespect to these people whatsoever. I mean, Chuck Schuldiner, the band, what did he have? It was called Mantas.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And there's all this. The evidence is damning and right across the board, And I mean, it's like I say, total respect to these people. And another thing I've said quite often now is, I have no idea what these people's music is like. I've never listened to a Bathory
That's really cool.
track. I've never listened to a Death track. I've never listened to a Bathory track. If you played me one right now and said, who's this band, I would not be able to tell you. And that's the honest truth. I mean, I'm old school. I'm still steeped in Judas Priest and, old stuff. But I mean, the one thing that I can say that I'm proud of, regardless of what's happened in the name of black metal, is that the genre continues today, albeit it's vastly different from what we started. Our sort of our thing with saying, we are black metal. It was something. It was youthful arrogance. It was us trying to alienate ourselves from the mainstream.
Yeah,
we wanted to individualize ourselves. We wanted, rightly or wrongly, and like I say, youthful arrogance it was. Really, we wanted to be leaders rather than followers.
Yeah.
And what the bands preceding us did, post Venom, and sort of we came out and said we are black metal, to an answer from a journalist who said, well, if you're not heavy metal, what are you? Because the press back then, they just wanted to pigeonhole you left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And that's where we said that we're black metal. So the song was written, the album was already there. But like I say, these bands that followed us, they basically did what we did to our heroes. you know, the Motorheads, the Sabbath, the Priests, the Kids, you know, they took all of that. Well, we took all of that and tried to make it heavier, faster, dirty, blah, 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 you know? I seen a great interview. Somebody posted it. I think it was from 1982. And it was us. It was the original lineup of Venom at the BBC studios in Newcastle.
Right.
1982. And I mean, we just looked like fetuses, to be
I
perfect,
bet,
you know?
yeah.
And we were so fucking arrogant, but the majority of the arrogance was coming from me, you know? And it was like, you know, at one point I said, you know, people are going to turn around and say, oh, here's another band who's here, they're the fastest, loudest, heaviest, fucking this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And I looked at the camera and went, well, we are.
Yeah. It's got
You
done
know?
there, hasn't it? Yeah. I think unless you've got that confidence, I think that's a big part of, you know, setting yourself above the rest. You've got to have the confidence and balls to say, you know,
Oh,
we're the
yeah. I mean,
black
that
metal
was
guys.
it. There was an endless supply of bullshit and bluster where we were concerned, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was, you know, a lot of that early Venom stuff was built on myth and mystery and hype,
Yeah.
you know,
Do you
and
think-
none of it would work today.
No,
None of it would. No, none of it would.
Different times, yeah.
Today. Yeah, different times altogether. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think the relationship with the press you had back then kind of helped, if anything, even though, you know, there was all sorts of press, you know, but do you think it kind of brought a bit of, I don't know what the word is, but kind of attention to what you were doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, the old saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity. And, you know, we had people who were firmly in our corner and flying our flag.
Yeah.
But we had people in the opposite corner waiting to destroy us, you know, who were dead against the band. There was no middle ground with us. There was no gray areas, you know. It was either, you know, you mentioned the word Venom, and people either went fuck yeah, or they went oh shit, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I never heard anybody say, yeah, they're okay, you know.
It's always.
I have done now, but in the early days, it was like. But I remember speaking to one guy. I'm sure it was after the first Hammersmith Odeon show. Just this random guy came up to me, and he actually said, I've got to admit, I fucking hate the music, but I love your image and I love the show. And he was there at Hammersmith Odeon. It was like,
Crazy.
I love the show and I love the imagery and everything like that, you know. I remember a friend of mine who's now sadly passed away, but his wife, I remember going round to his house once. We used to train in Aikido together, and I went round to pick him up to go training, and went into his house. It was the first time I'd been into his house, and in the hallway there was Cradle of Filth posters all the way, all framed and everything, you know.
Yeah.
And I walked in, I looked, and then his wife came out, and she was a goth. I mean, full blown goth. You know? And I just looked at her and I went, "Oh, I didn't know you were into these guys." And she went, "Oh, fucking hate them." She says,
Really?
"The imagery is amazing."
Yeah.
I
Different
love all
people
the
take different things.
you know,
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know.
funny, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I got to say, you know, I think you were, you know, obviously the most influential. You know, I think your sound was so unique compared to all these other bands. You know, and kind of you did just completely, you know, make something new. And I think, yeah, no, that speaks for itself. And yeah, I was one. Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
I was just going to say before you say anything else,
Yeah.
the sound, the sound, everything like that, everything that came with that early sound was born out of ignorance.
Was it?
We didn't know shit.
No,
We didn't
no.
know shit. We'd never been in a studio before. I've read so many things where, you know, Corona said, "Oh, I produced this." I said, "Fuck off! You didn't. You knew nothing. You were a T-boy." And there's a guy called Steve Thompson who's got a great website, and he actually came out and said that he used to work at there. He was the engineer. He was the engineer on our first single. But yeah, the whole sound thing, it was absolute ignorance. Even Keith Nicol, who recorded Welcome to Hell and Black Metal. He was the engineer for them. I'm sure he was on At War With as well. But he was the in-house engineer. And when we gained some notoriety, he used to get young bands coming in to do demos, and they used to do this thing called the 50 quid demo. You know,
Yeah,
so
right.
bands would come in,
Yeah.
play live, hand over 50 quid, and get the
Right.
demos.
Yeah.
He told me once when I was recording the first solo thing that I did, he said, I used to get a lot of these young bands coming in and saying, yeah, I would say, okay, then, so what's your style? What do you want to do? What do you want to sound? He says, a lot of them would go, oh, make us sound like Venom. And he said, as the engineer, I used to turn around and go, I can't. I don't know how to. Those guys come in, plug in,
Yeah.
turn everything up to 11, and that's I
Nice.
just record them. And
Yeah.
that was it. We had no idea about anything. So
No.
that's the
Yeah.
sound
So,
of the thing.
yeah. A lot of good luck there. Yeah. Well, brilliant. I think that's yeah. It goes to show. I think I remember you talking on one of your lives about kind of you were more about the songs than kind of having all the kit, wouldn't you? Or you said
Yeah.
something along those lines. You know, it's about having a good song rather than because lots of people think you've got to record on the most, you know, the best equipment and all this stuff, but you kind of were more about the songs, wouldn't you, than anything else?
I mean, fucking hell. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. There's a couple of screens behind me.
Yeah.
Right. Those screens are attached to a Mac Mini. Right.
Yeah.
And below that, there is a very basic M Audio sound card. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
That setup recorded Ave.
Really good.
The last album that we did, the Venom Inc. album, that exact setup recorded Ave. So it's what I've always said. It doesn't matter what you've got; it's how you use it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's it. Yeah.
I know people, right? I know people who have got all this fucking equipment. They've got fucking leads and fucking all high end shit coming out of their fucking ears. They don't even know how to switch the fucker on.
No. I've always hated that kind of mindset where you need all this stuff. I mean, I've always thought the same with fishing. These people who get all this fishing equipment and stuff to catch a fish, you know, it's the same kind of thing, you know.
Stick of dynamite will do the same job, won't it?
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I was going to ask, off of black metal, have you got a favourite song out of that album? Is there one you kind of thought really was spot on, really, for your favourite or whatever, you know?
The two that come to mind straight away from black metal is the track itself, black metal, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And Countess Bathory.
Nice, yeah, good choice. Yeah, I love Countess Bathory for sure.
That Countess Bathory, I've heard that sung by every possible nationality. I've told this tale before. One of the first shows Venom Inc. did was in Beijing, in China, and to hear a Chinese audience singing Countess Bathory is absolutely surreal.
It must be, yeah.
And that song, I remember walking into Impulse Studios one day, and our manager, Eric Cook, his brother, Jed, was a drummer, and he was briefly with Tyson Dog and Atomcraft. But he was a drummer anyway, and he used to set up Abaddon's drum kit. He was only a teenager at the time. So I walked into the studio, and Jed, this guy, was on the kit, and he was playing. Yeah. So my Marshall was there. We were recording this day. So I went in, took my guitar out of the case, plugged in, and Jed was doing this bass drum beat. So I had a riff, and I just looked at Jed and I went, keep going.
Yeah.
And I just started going down, 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 and that's how Countess Bathory was born.
Cool, brilliant. Yeah, I got to say that's one of my favourites. I think that and Buried Alive. I think I love
that's another. I mean, Buried Alive was written in 1979.
Was it? God.
Buried Alive and Raise the Dead. There's actually, if you get this fancy box set or whatever it is at the moment, there's the Church Hall recordings where I recorded the band in a church hall in the West End of Newcastle.
Oh, nice. Good place.
Late 1979, and it was with the original singer Clive Archer. And on those rehearsal tapes, we do Angel Dust, Red Light Fever, Buried Alive, and Raise the Dead. So they were all written
That's
Way
brilliant. Cool. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I love the melodies. I think Buried Alive's got some really great melodies, and I will get onto Clive a bit later because we got some fan questions a bit later on where people are asking a few things. So, well, I'll definitely get onto that a bit later. Yeah, I was just going to say, we're both big Priest fans, and I've noticed your KK was a big influence on you. I just wanted to know a little more on, how he inspired you and what, if there was anything particularly that, was he the one who kind of got you playing guitar? Was he one of your kind of heroes?
the thing, I was dabbling with guitar at the
Right.
time. I was still sort of heavily into I've always been heavily into my martial arts training, but I was sort of dabbling with guitar, and it was sort of coming around to the band coming together. And that Judas Priest gig in 1979, May 24th, 1979, I believe it was a Thursday evening, and I'd heard the name, but I wasn't that familiar with them.
Mm.
And I was sort of just jamming with a guy from the Taekwondo club, a guy called Dave Rutherford, and we were actually the ones that put Venom together. He
Ah,
was rhythm guitarist, and at that show that night, we actually met Abaddon, Clive Archer, and Eric Cook, who became our manager. So they
yeah,
were at the show as well. Um, I mean that's I've said, everybody has a defining moment in their life at some point where they go, wow, I want to do that.
yeah, yeah.
And I just remember at Newcastle City Hall that night. I mean, it's over there behind the camera. There's a tower, and it's got all memorabilia and stuff on.
Oh, cool.
I've still got the original '79 program,
Wow.
the ticket,
Nice.
and the silk scarf.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All original from '79,
That's brilliant.
signed by KK and Roy as
Brilliant.
well. But I just remember being at that show, and there was a local band called White Heat. They got the support gig for that night,
Cool.
and the curtains opened, and the band kicked in. And I remember, looking at the stage. I'm looking at the stage on my left-hand side. This guitarist ran on. Blonde hair, cherry red flying V, leathers, and that was it. I just looked and went, that's it.
Yeah, he
That's
is cool. He is the
No, I
coolest.
mean,
He is, yeah.
I've since been lucky enough to speak to KK, and I've just had one telephone conversation with him. We text every now and again, but
Yeah.
I said to him, when I first got to speak to him, I said, right, okay, mate, I'm gonna get all the fanboy shit straight out of the window.
Yeah.
Like you did the, I've seen you
Yeah.
in 19, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, and I actually said to him at the end of it, I said, so actually, mate, you're responsible for black metal. It's your fucking fault.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Um,
nice. Yeah.
But I mean, his defining moment was Hendrix,
Yeah. Big.
and Hendrix would have had a defining moment, and
Yeah.
whoever his defining moment was would have had a defining moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said that if somebody said you can only listen to one guitarist for the rest of your life, it would be Gary Moore, right? Because as a player,
Yeah.
Gary Moore is my all-time favorite guitarist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as a player, as an entity, and as the quintessential British heavy metal guitarist, it's KK Downing.
Oh, that's really nice. I did actually, because I interviewed KK back a bit. I did tell him I was interviewing you today, and he did say, I'll try and find it. Bear with me. He did say to say a big hi. So bear with. Hopefully you can see. Can you spot KK there?
Where's you?
He's just, I think, there.
Oh, please say a big hi to Jeff.
All right. So yeah, but no, he's. I know he's very much very supportive of you and stuff. I was chatting.
I mean, when I had the heart attack, I got a text from him going, "What the fuck you doing? Get your stage clothes ready. We've got gigs to do."
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's.
But, I mean, he was, and still is. I mean, for me, KK became a mentor, really, like a distant mentor. I mean, I never met the guy.
Oh.
And the other thing was as well, because you're talking 1979, there was no internet, no social media, nothing like that. So, you know, when I seen these guys on stage, you know, it was like, wow, I wonder what they do next. You know,
Yeah.
where do they go? You know, they weren't human. You know,
Yeah, I know
they
you
were
mean.
just
Somehow
fucking,
social media ruins that a little bit. I
oh,
remember Rob wasn't on social media for so long, and I used to think, oh, I wonder what he's like and that. But as soon as they go on social media, you get a real kind of insight, and it's like, oh, it's kind of it's good, but there's also a side of it where it's like it's nice when it's a bit you don't know too much, you know, and it's just you can
yeah.
imagination there, you
I
know.
remember seeing a letter. I think it was in Kerrang or Sounds magazine, but this letter was sent in by this Venom fan, and I had shattered his illusions because he seen me coming out of Marks and Spencers with 2 shopping bags.
No, that's not good.
Like, fucking hell, you know, you've got to eat, you know, and
No, no.
you know, now having been in a band, you know, it's like, you know exactly what happens before and after the shows, you know. But you know, back then, I had none of that experience, and you know, seeing these bands, and we used to go to the City Hall in the Mayfair a lot. We used to see I've seen AC/DC with Bon Scott. That was the final tour before he passed away.
Oh, lovely.
I've seen Rory Gallagher. Was fucking Blue Oyster Cult was the first show I seen. I think that was '78.
Cool.
But you know, these people who were on stage,
Yeah,
they were special. You know, it was
exactly.
like, you know, they don't have normal lives. You know, it's
Yeah,
like, fucking hell. But
Yeah.
like I say, social media sort of dispels all the myths.
It does, unfortunately. Yeah, it's kind of you got to appear really cool on there at least if you're gonna try and keep that image, you know. So it's not really, you know, you got to be fake, or if you show your real self, it's a bit disillusional kind of thing. But yeah, I was just going to touch on. I don't know. Have you heard the new KK's Priest track?
Yes.
Hellfire Thunderbolt. Just wanted to know if you had any thoughts on that.
To be perfectly honest, it's exactly what I expected.
Awesome, yeah.
Exactly what I expected. You know, let's put it this way: it's fulfilled the expectations.
Yeah, definitely.
He hasn't sort of veered away from what he is.
No, not at all. No.
You know, that is quite evident even by the opening of the video where he's there, you know, doing all the whammy bar stuff. Yeah. It's like, so it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just a classic rock stroke metal track.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah, I thought you'd have something to say about it. I was really pleasantly impressed. Like you say, I thought it's gonna be just full on metal. Really, when it comes to KK and that kind of style, you know, it's gonna be you know what you're gonna get. You know, so yeah. Do you have like a top 3 guitarists? I know you've mentioned 2, so I guess one more. Have you got like a third favorite guitarist?
As well, I suppose there's got to be another 2 who are added to the list.
That's fair.
Possibly 3.
That's all right. Go for it.
Yeah. Frank Marino.
Right.
Zakk Wylde.
Of course.
And just because he is this person, and I think he's great. Ace Frehley.
Good going, yeah. That's a very good choice. Yeah, I've noticed.
I mean, I must admit, there's, you know, obviously, you know, if I'm bored and I go onto YouTube and I'm hopping about and I look at guitarists and stuff like that, and there's so many, you know, amazing technicians out there, you know, and people, you know, who are probably in their bedrooms who you've never heard of, who, you know, who are doing stuff that I could never do if I had 10 lifetimes. But the point is, I'm not interested in doing that. You know, all this sweeping arpeggios and
no, I know.
It's like, you know, I always try to go by what Gary Moore said in an interview years and years ago, and that is that any guitar solo which is in a song should do something for the song. It should take it to another level, because at the end of the day, the guitar solo for that period of time, whatever it is, 10, 20 or 30 seconds, for that period of time, it's replacing the vocals. And the vocals are the most important part of any song.
Definitely, yeah.
So that's what I try and do. I like melody in guitar solos. I like to be able to sing the guitar solo. I mean, if I put any Priest album on, it doesn't matter how long I haven't heard that album for, I can still remember the guitar solo. When
I know what you mean, yeah.
I know exactly where it's going, what it's doing. Same with Gary Moore, you know. And that's what I like, you know. Eddie Van Halen had the same thing.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know, all that. It's down to melody. I think, you know, when you get these players who, I don't know, it becomes a texture.
I know what you mean.
It's just something which is... What it shouldn't be is something that is there just because the formula dictates it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know, it's like, you know, you get a song formula: intro, verse, bridge, chorus, middle 8, guitar solo, chorus, out.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's fair enough. That's a standard ABC fucking song structure. But if it doesn't require a guitar solo, then, you know, if there's a good instrumental part or a melodic part,
yeah,
you know, a lot of the times it's not needed, you know. But
no.
I think it just gets, you know, I think once you've heard Yngwie Malmsteen go up and down the fretboard once, I think you've heard it a million times.
Yeah.
That's not to say anything bad against Yngwie Malmsteen, because you can't deny the guy's talent.
Yeah,
he is an incredible player, and I love watching him just from the point of view of going, what?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, it's like, but you know, it doesn't really. The best I heard from Malmsteen actually was, I've got a load of DVDs over there, and you know, I had a Malmsteen instructional DVD. It was like, yeah, right, who's gonna fucking be able to play that shit? But there's a section in it where he just kicks back and he plays the blues, and it's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, I totally know where you're coming from. I think, and I love your play, and I really think, you know, you've got such a unique sound that, like I say, Buried Alive, I love that solo on that. You know, it really just adds to that whole atmosphere, and kind of, I think with Venom and Venoming, you know, the atmosphere is always there. You know, I think that's what was great. You kind of, it always adds to the atmosphere, the kind of solos, and the kind of, none of it, like you say, is just you showing off, or, you know, it's always good.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I've said this again, I've said this before, you know, if I'm going to cut, this is my studio, and if I'm going to come in here for 8 hours a day, I'm not going to sit down and fucking do scales.
No.
It's like, I want something at the end of it. I want to write a song. Every time I come in here, there's a new riff comes out and I bang it down, or I'll put it on the phone if the studio's not fired up. And I mean, you know, when I used to do the rock school thing back in England, I always used to say to the kids that we used to teach, you know, it's like, remember, the guitar it's actually called a musical instrument.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's for backing up the singer at the end of the day. Yeah. And then you get your, you know, 5 seconds of fame when you can step forward and go widdly widdly. But at the end of the day, the rhythm parts are more important than the solos, unless you're doing instrumental stuff, you know, where you're all over the place. But I had a friend years and years ago who was a demonstrator in artist relations for a guitar company, and they brought a new model out, and he filmed a video of him playing this thing, and it went up on YouTube. And I mean, I'm going back a long time now, but this guy can play. I mean, the Malmsteen, Vai, Satriani, everything. He's got the whole 9 yards, you know. I mean, he tore the shit out of this guitar. And halfway through it, at the bottom, somebody who had edited the video together, there was a little ticker tape went along the bottom of the video. It said, can also be used to play a song.
Oh, nice.
Fucking brilliant. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. What does a typical day for Mantas involve? What's a typical day?
Well, today, typical day. I've got my little gym outside, so I go in and do a quick workout every morning.
Yeah.
Then the day is spent in here in the studio. Like today, I had to film my parts for the new collaboration thing. I've just done Heavens on Fire with Cody Souza from Patriot.
Cool.
He did the vocals and sent them over, and he did the video and sent his video parts over. So today has been video editing
Right.
on the workstation, and on the workstation behind us, as I was editing videos, I was collecting vocal files for the new Venom Inc. thing, which I'll be loading into the main studio computer tomorrow.
Nice.
At the moment, I've collected 5 songs worth of vocals.
Cool.
So there's 12 lined up for the album. There's 24 recorded, but we've narrowed that down to 12 for the album.
Nice, cool. So there's going to be a lot of excited fans soon enough.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, awesome. Yeah. Is there anything else you've been doing? I saw you did something in Countess Bathory collaboration, didn't you?
Oh, with Diva Satanica, yeah,
Yeah.
we did that. I did Satanicist with Nurgle. That was the first one that I did. Actually, that it just came about by accident.
Did it? Cool.
I was doing one of these live things one night, and there was a little message popped up, and it was Nurgle. And he was like, "Oh, fanboy moment. Can you play Satanicist and all that?" And I went, "Right, well, if I play Satanicist, I think you should sing it, you know."
Yeah.
And ping, message straight away. And he
Yeah.
was like, "Ready when you are, boss." And I was like,
Oh,
"Okay."
sweet. That's
So
awesome.
anyway, that was the thing that started it, and then I've got a guy who's helping on the sort of tech side with Patreon and all this kind of stuff, and he's been in contact with all these people, and it's just been name after name after name coming in. So there's quite a few lined up now to do collaborations.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to be done for fun. I mean, I've already had people asking if it's going to be released, and I'm like, oh, I don't think so. It's like there's just too much involved. Unless I can just do all the music and everything and get somebody else to go, right, we'll deal with all the other bullshit because I can't deal with it. But so that's what's been happening. Patreon's keeping me really busy, like constantly doing content for that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
You know, I'm doing.
How can people find you? Do they just tap in your name or on there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just patreon.com/Jeff Mantas. You know, so, and I'm there. There's 5 tiers that people can join up to. We do prize draws. Somebody, one of the patrons has just won my old tour and stage jacket.
Oh,
guitar straps.
Wow. That is yeah.
And like a set of strings that I played at the Old State Arena when we supported the Misfits, Plex, and an old school 80s Venom faction. So yeah. I've got a ton of memorabilia where, you know, I thought people are signing up to support, and yes, they're getting video content, they're getting a new song every month, and it's all exclusively for Patreon. But I thought there's a ton of stuff which is just in boxes. You know,
why not? Yeah.
Fans would love to have that kind of stuff, you know.
Exactly,
I mean, the guy who won this jacket, he's already said that he's already bought one of these big, deep frames. He's going to. I mean, it's been just in my memorabilia box for nearly a year, you know.
Yeah, it's nice to know someone's actually going to display it.
Yeah, well, that's
give
it.
The treatment.
So, yeah. So,
yeah, no, that's really cool.
There's another one lined up. Which will be announced next Friday. The Patreons will get to see the editing and the mixing and everything of the videos and the music. And tomorrow night they'll get first shot at seeing the finished video.
Wow.
Which has just been finished this afternoon.
Crazy, yeah. Okay.
So that'll go up tomorrow night for Patreons, and then next Friday it'll go public.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely worth joining then. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good fun.
Yeah. Are you aware of the Room 101 concept? I was just going to ask if there's anything you'd banish to Room 101. Is there anything springs to mind that really pisses you off, I guess?
Probably the other two members of the original lineup.
Right. I'll pull the thing and they're in, right? Yeah.
What really pisses me off? Fucking
Yeah.
hell. Oh God, flies! I fucking hate flies. Oh my God! And because we live in central Portugal, and we
Right.
essentially live in the middle of a forest.
Oh, I can
Oh,
imagine.
for fuck's sake, it's like, they're just flies, but it's like,
Yeah.
I've always said if I could push a button and every fly would disappear off the fucking planet, that would be it.
I'll do that then. Flies can go in. Yeah.
Flies can go in there,
Yeah.
fucking hell. Fucking hell. I'm just trying to be chilled out at the minute and not hate too many things.
No, that's good. That's a good way to be. Yeah, that's good.
Flies have always got it though. I bought one of these fucking. It looks like a tennis racket, right?
Yeah.
It's got a button on the bottom. You switch it on. It's electrified.
You're having fun with that.
Fucker when you hit them.
I can imagine you loving that. Yeah.
Fucking great.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need them banished now. You can have fun with that.
Oh yeah. Just play fucking explosive tennis with flies.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. Talking of Portugal, do you get recognised ever? Do you have any hardcore Venom fans sort of walking down the street and?
I mean, bear in mind, we live in a tiny little village.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend were sitting up at the local cafe. Every village has a cafe.
Yeah.
There's a big cafe culture over here, and it's the hub of the village. All the community goes to the village. So obviously, just coming out of a tentative lockdown, we've started to go back to the cafe.
Mm.
We normally go up in the morning, take the dog for a walk, and sit down, have a coffee. So I didn't see this, but Anita had said to me that there was a car had driven past, and there was two young guys in the car, and the car stopped and reversed and looked into, because we were sitting in essentially what is the car park. They've got the umbrellas up there.
Yeah.
So anything, the next thing I knew, these two young guys walked in. So, everybody says hello to everybody over here, So I just, I was just like, bon dia, it's like, bon dia. They wandered in. Then they came out with a coffee each. They sat down on the next table to us. I didn't think anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I know was Jeff. Hello.
I can imagine. Yeah.
He said, would you sign my guitar? And he had his guitar in the car.
Did he? Wow.
So I was like, yeah, sure. So it's happened a few times, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I've actually done some recording, some guitar work for a Portuguese artist, a female vocalist.
Oh, yeah, wow.
The stuff is very, what can I say? It's sort of rock pop. It's it's a bit like Evanescence type stuff.
Oh, nice, yeah.
She's got an amazing voice. I mean, I don't know what her octave range is, but fucking hell, she hits some notes that only
Nice, yeah. Nice.
So I've been doing that as well. But yeah, sometimes, I mean, when before lockdown in the summer months here, every village has what they call a festa, which is just it's a little celebration, goes on over the weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
Every village goes to every other village's festas, so you're all and I've been recognised there a few times. But all the village know what I do.
Do they?
Know. Oh yeah. But it's a very, very. I mean, there's a church at the top of the road, and they're all very, very religious.
Oh yeah.
But the really nice thing about it is, they all know what I do. They've all Googled me, so they've seen everything, but they don't give a shit.
No,
no. I'm just Jeff that goes to the cafe and he's fucking shorts and flip flops.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's spot on. That's good for me. Yeah.
So you got a nice little community out there.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I mean, when when I had the heart attack, I found out when I got home from hospital, they'd actually said prayers for me in the fucking church.
Wow,
I
cool.
was like, whoa,
Yeah.
fucking wrong denomination, but
Nice thought, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's crazy you went through that. I was watching some interviews recently where you said you saw like was it a vortex or something when you were when you were kind of there. And I was just wondering, because I know you're not religious or anything, but do you believe we carry on in some capacity? Is it energy or whatever it may be? Does our consciousness continue, do you think, in some capacity?
I would like to think so. I would love to think so. I think we're too complex to just extinguish.
Yeah.
But having said that, when I went, was nothing.
Mm.
Fuck that was it.
Yeah.
Anita had came to the side of the ambulance, and she said, how do you feel? And I remember I turned to her and I looked and I went, I think the pain's gone. And then I just went, boom. And that was it. I literally died in front of her. So the doctor kicked the door shut, and it took them just over 5 minutes to get me back. They shot adrenaline into my heart, obviously the paddles, CPR.
Yeah.
So they worked bloody hard to get me back.
Wow.
But there was a lot of stuff that I described to Anita that she said that never happened. And there was what was seconds for me was hours.
It is strange, yeah.
It was just weird. But there was there was a series on Netflix. And the first episode, it was all about mediums and all this kind of stuff. But the first episode was called Surviving Death. And it was all about people who had near-death or death experiences. Some of the tales were unbelievable. And I spoke to actually a Venom fan in America called Dali. We've become good friends. And he died, I think, when he was 19. He fell through a plate glass window, literally severed his right arm, and he bled out. He said he watched the paramedics bring him back from above, and he watched. The interesting thing on this program, Surviving Death, was there was actually a doctor who was doing this whitewater rafting, this kayaking stuff out in South America somewhere. And anyway, she hit this really bad patch and went under the water, and she was literally smashed to pieces.
Crazy.
And they found her body, and they started administering CPR. I think she said she had been dead for 20 minutes or something. But the thing was, all the people that she was with were colleagues, so they were all medical people. Right? She was a doctor herself, and she said, as a medical student, it was, you're alive, you're dead. That's it. This is the practicalities. This is the science of it, right? But she went on to say, and she showed this as a drawing. She drew the scene of her lying at the riverside and the position of each individual person around her, and even to the point where they found her knapsack and where that was. And she presented this to this group of people, and they were just like, well, I don't know how you're seeing that, but that's absolutely correct.
It's crazy, yeah.
And she also said that when she was gone, she said, I didn't see any beings or anything like that. She said, I just felt comfortable, but I heard voices, fleeting voices. And one voice had said that it was time to go back. But in the same breath, she was going to lose her eldest son.
Right, yeah.
And her eldest son died at 22.
It is strange.
So there's something in it. There's something there. I firmly believe so. As for a fucking devil with fucking horns and fucking no, God, no. I mean, I've said this countless times. Man, we are the gods, we are the demons, we are the devils.
I know what you
Man,
mean.
man is capable of the most amazing things, the most benevolent,
Mm,
God's most compassionate, the ultimate love. But we are also the most disgusting pieces of shit
mm,
on the planet when we want to be.
totally. Yeah.
And that's evident just by looking at the news channels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
gods and demons, not at all.
Mm,
I believe in universal creation. I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe in fate and destiny.
yeah.
Because even as I've been writing the book, there's too many things which I've found happen here, which relate
Yeah.
to here.
Parallels. Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
coincidence. I don't know. I think
No.
it's more like life opportunities.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think I've always had an outlook where I'm not strictly non-religious, but I am very much more, I guess, spiritual, you'd say. With I've always thought I think we carry on in some capacity because it just like you say, it seems way too complex that we've just extinguished kind of thing. But something I'll tell you a quick little story, which is really
Mhm.
weird, which I found. I had a girlfriend back a few years ago, and I'm not into like clairvoyant kind of stuff at all or any of that. I'm a bit like, oh, I'm not sure about that. But I had a girlfriend who, it was kind of early days, and I think she'd come to Bristol where I live, and we were kind of in the hotel, and she just said to me, oh, I've got someone coming through for you, because she said she was clairvoyant, but she wasn't one of these who practiced it, but she said she had that ability. And she said, oh, there's someone coming through, and she said it's your granddad. And she said so many details. Like she said he likes sunflowers, and he was evacuated to Coolmore, so she touched on Coolmore, and there was some rock he liked or something. There was something he liked down there, and how he looked, and the kind of shirt he wore, and just so many things which I'd never told her. It was early days. I'd got with her, and she just said, he's come through and he's talked to me, and it just made me think that's really surreal, because it was so it was details. It wasn't just vague details. It was specific things about him, like sunflowers. I don't know if all old people love sunflowers, but I wouldn't assume
Mhm.
that's something that would, you know.
No, I think there's definitely something in it. I mean, I remember my mum. She had a massive stroke. This one going
Oh,
back to 2005 now.
mm,
Eventually, because of complications arising from all that, she passed away that year. She had the stroke in the February, which
mm,
actually she had the stroke on my father's birthday,
wow.
who had passed away 25 years previous to her. And then she passed away on December the 17th. Before that, she had been in a coma for a long time.
Mm,
And at one point, I went to hospital every single day. And I went in the hospital this day, and she was still just lying there. So I was just talking to her as usual. And then she opened her eyes. And she opened her eyes and she looked around. And bearing in mind that she had limited capacity of speech because of the stroke, she
cool.
opened her eyes, she looked around, and she started to cry. And she
Mm,
said, "Oh no." And then she just drifted off again. And
really?
I thought to myself, has she been gone? Has she been somewhere else? And
Mm,
then all of a sudden being dragged back to the mortal plane, opened
yeah,
her
yeah.
eyes, oh, fucking hell, I can't deal with this again, you
It
know?
does make you think,
And
yeah.
I remember being in her room one night. She had to have 24-hour medical care, so I was there visiting every day. And when I used to finish my work at the gym, when I had the martial arts gym, I used to drive into the town where she was, and there was a fish and chip shop which she loved. I always used to grab fish and chips. I would go to the home,
Oh,
and I would say to the nurses, "Come on, get my mum out of bed. We're going to have a fish
oh,
supper." And
yeah,
there was one night she had the most lucid conversation with her own mother.
crazy. Cool.
She
Wow.
was staring into the corner of the room, having a conversation with her own mother.
Mm,
And she only let go. She passed away in my arms on a Saturday afternoon, December 17th. And she only let go when I said to her, go to my dad and have a wonderful Christmas. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. And
oh,
it wasn't even 5 minutes after that she took her final breath.
True.
So there's definitely something there.
Yeah.
Because I think there's too much evidence as well.
Mm.
You know, on this Netflix series, there was things about reincarnation as well.
Yeah.
This little boy,
Mm.
fucking hell, this little American boy who described being a fighter pilot
Really?
in Japan. It was to the detail. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
There's got to be something in it. Yeah.
There's got to be something.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you also believe you can kind of manifest things? Like, I think Jim Carrey says he wrote a check out to himself before he was famous for, like, I don't know, a few million, and he was years later, he post dated it or something, and when it come around to that year or whatever, he was offered the mask and that exact amount of money, he claims. So kind of he believes you can kind of manifest. I've kind of found it in my own life with things, with kind of just different sort of opportunities and music opportunities and things. Like, if you don't let any negative kind of energy creep in and you just stay on your route, that's what you want to achieve. You just keep going. You sort of, it's a kind of knowing, you're like, that will happen, but I'm just going to keep going. I think as soon as you let negative things in, that can sometimes sway your path, or people who are negative can sway your path. But I think, sometimes it's kind of inbuilt what we want to achieve, I think, sometimes, and we might not have all the answers, but I think if you kind of set on something, it can happen.
Yeah, I totally believe that. There's the manifestation, the law of attraction, all that kind of stuff. I do absolutely believe in it. I've got countless audio books over there about it, other books and stuff. I mean, the thing that opened the door for me was when I first seen the movie The Secret.
Really?
I watched that movie. I was a bit skeptical at first, and I watched it. I was like, all right, but there's a lot of people on there, you know, like quantum physicists and things like that, and it's like, right, okay. And you know, now having read even more about it, there's definitely something in it. And I can think of 3 instances in my life, probably more, where that happened. Venom being one of them.
Yeah.
Most definitely. It's that thing where you say, you know, I mean, I was so tunnel visioned, and I just did not give it any choice but to happen.
No. Yeah.
You know? But I totally get that. I totally agree. And
great, yeah. I think the universe or someone, you know, something, you know, looks out for you in the end. Yeah, it kind of you can make it happen. You know.
Yeah. I would take to believe that over any fucking religion.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I think what makes religion toxic is kind of it's the people, really, as humans' interpretation. And I think I'm not completely against the idea of a God, but I think if there was, I don't think the scripture represents that kind of entity. I think it's more a human interpretation. It's kind of a shallow mindset of kind of what, you know, things should be or are, or kind of you know, I don't sort of feel any religion particularly.
No, I don't. I mean, you know, and obviously we've been with the band Venom, you get asked about it and all that. It's like, well, I really don't give a shit about it, you know. I'm not religious, north, south, east or west. It's like, no. It's one of the biggest problems on the planet.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the major causes of war on this planet. And I remember getting grilled by somebody years ago, and I said, right, do you know what it is? I says, eventually, when some lunatic does push that button, and we go nuclear, and the planet is fucking wiped out, right? Okay, that's it, gone. Yeah. Now, thousands of years into the future, the first little fucking organisms crawl out of the swamps again, and then human life begins all over again.
Yeah.
Right? Give it a few hundred years, and then one day, they're digging and excavating, right? And somebody finds a book.
Yeah.
Goes, oh, what's this, right? Reads it and all this, and they go, we have found our God. Fucking hell, he has a philosopher's stone, and his name is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Hell, man,
yeah, I know what you mean.
That's exactly what everything is.
Yeah, it's not very concrete at all. No. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, totally. I guess I better move on to the fan questions. Before I do though, I'll touch on the cats, because do you rescue cats?
Yes. Yeah. I've got
Nice.
13 of the little fuckers at the moment.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, I'm busy building another section to the little sanctuary I've got out in the back there. They've got the back. There's a spare room at the back of the house, which is their room, but the windows are constantly open and they can go into an enclosure. And then I'm busy building another enclosure, so there's going to be a little tunnel which goes to that enclosure, just to extend it around the garden for them. I would let them out. I would let them roam free, but we have got one road which is just there. And bearing in mind we're a village, every now and again you get some fucking lunatic who comes speeding through it, and it's a blind summit, you know.
Yeah.
And we've lost 2 of our cats on the road there, so can't do that anymore. But I've got I'm saying I've got 13. I've got 4 of them are on their way. They're just babies at the moment, but they're coming.
Yeah, that's great. That's good to doing your bit for sure. No, that's really nice. They need. I think people need to sort of look out for things in life. It's not all about kind of selfish things. You got to look.
No. I know. I mean, there's 2 of them that I can think of straight away. Garfield and Bobby, we found in the gutter, and I mean, you know, they would have literally been dead if we hadn't taken them. They were about that big, you know, tiny little things. They're not related. We found Bobby first, then we found Garfield. But we've got 4. There's 4 cats that we've got which came out of one of the rescues, because one of the other rescues caught that one before. It was Garfield was going to go to the vets to get his nuts cut off, right? And then we went into lockdown.
Oh god.
He caught one of the females, but I thought, hey, you know what it is? It's my responsibility. I'm going to look after them anyway. So,
fair play.
You know.
Yeah, that's really nice. On to the fan questions. Hopefully you can see some of them there, but I'll read them as well. We've got from Metal Until Death. Do you have any more stories about touring with Slayer?
Oh God. My immediate memory is, I'm sure it was Chicago, and there was a big balcony that ran around the hall, and this night they had sectioned a little bit off of like VIP guests and stuff like that. So Slayer were on stage, and I decided to go and check them out because I'd never seen them.
Oh, right.
So I went up and I was looking down onto the stage, and you know, it was Jeff Hanneman, Kerry King, Tom Araya, and Kerry King. But the person who grabbed my attention immediately, and I stood there just fucking mesmerized, was Dave Lombardo.
Oh, cool.
I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck is that guy doing?
Yeah.
You know, absolutely incredible, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's always been the tale of fucking Kronos fucking headbutting Tom Araya on the fucking all that kind of stuff, you know. But that was God. It was the same as the Metallica boys, you know, just being out on the road with them. I mean, not because I didn't want it. At the end of the day, when it comes down to all that kind of stuff, I'm not a party guy. Never have been.
Fair, me too.
I'm quite an introvert, to be perfectly honest.
Very much.
I can talk and talk and talk, as is evident now.
Yeah.
You know, if you put me in a social situation with real live humans, I'm pretty useless.
Same here.
But I just used to keep myself to myself.
That's good. Yeah, I think there's too much pressure to conform to that kind of a party setting. For introverts, it's horrible. A party's like the worst thing you can imagine. But I think people have got to understand not everyone is kind of into that social kind of stuff. But yeah, right, we got Cassia, I don't know. I can't even attempt, but I'll say Cassia. Where did the idea for the band name come from? Venom.
Oh, Venom. Fucking hell. Yeah. Honestly, it was a guy that used to hang around with us at rehearsals. I believe his name was Kevin. He had a motorbike, and we were sitting around one day trying to decide on a name for the band. And
Wow.
this guy just in the distance went, "What about Venom?" I went, "That'll do."
Really?
That was it. Yeah.
That's
That
great.
was as much thought that was put into that.
Wow.
So that was it. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was
that's
no
good.
dispute about it. Venom, yeah, that'll do. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's
The
great.
funny thing was, when we first started to get some publicity,
Hmm.
and we were in the first sort of issues of Kerrang, I remember there was another band called Venom who were in Manchester.
Really?
Yeah. And now, I think the tale goes that some journalist from Kerrang had contacted Neat Records and said, like, you know, there's this other band called Venom, like, you know, so we're going to do this piece where each band is going to state a case for being called Venom. So why should you be called Venom? Why should we? So anyway, this Manchester band were like, yeah, well, we've been Venom for fucking this long, and fucking blah, 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 blah. Us being the Geordies were like, you fucking change your name, otherwise we're going to come down there and kick your fucking heads in.
God, that's good. And it worked. It worked. Great. Bro. Right. Yeah, this is an interesting one. So Nordic Metalhead wants to know what happened to Clive Archer after his departure from Venom.
Oh, Clive is actually now he's in a blues band. He's still singing. He's still doing the rounds and stuff like that. But I think it's a hobby for him, you know. After his departure, I mean, you know, there was a parting of the ways, and that was it. I mean, it was like, I don't believe anybody who said like, "Oh yeah, well I sacked Clive." No, Clive. I think Clive left of his own volition because he wasn't really into what we were steering towards, if you like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, funny enough, the last time I actually bumped into Clive was at the Judas Priest show at Newcastle Arena in 2010.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, we were literally coming out. I mean, thousands of people coming out. Who I bumped into, but Clive,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And you know, we talked like it was just fucking yesterday. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still involved in he's I mean, he's got his day job and stuff like that, but he does do his music. And the last time I seen a photograph of him, he still had hair down to his fucking arse.
Did it? Oh, that's good.
Still had long hair. I always liked Clive. You know, I had a lot of things in common with Clive. Really, I remember the first time I actually seen him. First time I met him, he had a pair of he had a pair of jeans on, but down the front of one leg was embroidered "The Ripper."
Oh, nice.
And I was like,
Very cool.
oh, fucking hell. So that was a connection straight. You know, the Priest connection was there immediately, you know. And I've always wondered, you know, what would have happened if Clive had stayed in the band?
Yeah,
I mean, you've got that picture you've got up of him there.
Yeah.
That was taken at about 5 o'clock in the morning in some fucking horrible little graveyard in fucking...
Was it? God.
In Wall's End somewhere.
Was that the same day or was that a different day?
That's the same one. That's the same section, yeah. But,
Nice.
you know, all this, the makeup that he's got on,
Yeah.
right, that isn't theatrical makeup, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't afford the fancy stuff, right? So we, you know, the old-fashioned whitewash that you used to paint your walls with.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what that is.
Is it? Wow. God.
Just used to paint his face, dry it with a hairdryer, and then he used to do this with his face, and it all used to crack and everything, you know?
Yeah.
But there was a point where we were thinking, well, you know, do we need the makeup thing? Because, you know, Alice Cooper did it, Kiss did it.
Yeah.
Before that, Arthur Brown did it. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, we don't know if we need that. And then look what's happened today. Every fucking band looks like a bunch of pandas. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
So
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? The thing is, I mean, like I say that, but honestly, no disrespect to anybody whatsoever. But it just doesn't look scary at all. It doesn't do anything.
No.
I've seen photographs. In fact, I put one up on Facebook ages and ages ago. I've seen photographs from the early 70s of Gene Simmons. Now, the 70s Gene Simmons, early 70s Gene Simmons, right? you know, when the lighting has been right and the makeup was running and that blood is hanging out of his mouth, you're not going to get any better than that. So
No,
fucking, you know,
that's true.
it's like fucking hell, you know.
Yeah,
But that's like, you know, we were thinking at that point in 79, 80, you
yeah,
know, oh, makeup, I don't know about the makeup thing, you know. But it was because of Kiss. It was as simple as that. There's nothing else. And
no,
then years later, it's called corpse paint.
yeah. So you'd say it originated from Kiss, would you? The corpse paint, probably.
Oh, fuck yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, good God. I've got a picture up there that Anita bought me for Christmas a few Christmases ago. It's an autographed shot of early, it's probably 1973. And it's just all the headshots, like the first album cover. And Gene Simmons looks fucking demonic on it.
Does he?
He looks far scarier than any of these fuckers who are kicking around today.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, I don't know. You know, it's like, I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah, while on the subject of Clive, I'm sure I heard some early demos, and did he do more like, you mentioned Priest, was it more like screamy kind of vocals, the high notes and stuff? I'm sure I'd heard some
He did a couple of things like that in Angel Dust, like It Takes Me Higher.
Yeah.
He used to do stuff like that, yeah. But, you know, actually in the early days, because I had asked Kronos to sing Live Like an Angel, Die Like a Devil. And the idea was that Clive was going to go off stage and do a costume change and come back on for Schizo. Right, so he was going to have the bag of medical implements and body parts.
Yeah.
And,
Nice.
you know, we're always thinking about stuff like that, you know. So I asked Conrad to sing Live Like an Angel.
Yeah.
And there wasn't that much difference between the two vocal styles.
Really?
There wasn't a great deal. I think, you know, as he progressed, Conrad probably developed a stronger vocal style.
Yeah.
More distinctive vocal style. But in the early days, no, there wasn't that much difference.
Yeah, so they were both kind of on that path, but Kronos kind of...
Yeah, it was just that sort of gravelly fucking, you know, not really singing type of thing.
No,
you know?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think, you know, I'm sure with Clive it probably might have went a more kind of Priest King Diamond direction, but I think at least, you know, Kronos and, you know, all you, and then obviously when you went with Venom Inc. and stuff, you know, you kind of kept that kind of same kind of vocal style, that darker kind of, I think that's what people think of with Venom, so it's probably good.
Oh, yeah.
It went that direction, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right, what else have I got here? Mrs. Venom 666 wants to know, what is your favourite band that isn't Venom?
My favourite band that isn't Venom? Well, fucking Venom isn't even my favourite band.
No.
I mean, it's obviously got to be Priest. You know?
Yeah.
Priest. I still love Kiss. I mean, you know, for me, when I say Kiss, it's always going to be the early stuff. I've got every fucking thing that they've ever done, but you know, the early Kiss. But you know, I love like Frank Marino and stuff like that. I mean, I've got a ton. There's a ton of music that I like. You know, I've got pretty eclectic taste. You know, but I like good basic blues rock as well. You know, all that kind of stuff. I don't listen to any modern metal. I've got to admit. I don't listen to it. Not to say that none of it's any good. I'm sure there's some great bands around and stuff like that. But no, I think, you know, if you're talking favorite band, you know, it's a real toss up between Priest and Kiss.
Yeah, no, I thought that's what you were gonna say. So yeah, no, that's good.
I mean, fucking.
Oh, nice! Wow.
Tattooed on there, and then Ace Frehley's on my arm.
Oh, nice! Yeah, that's commitment. That is commitment, right there.
Pretty fucking obvious, like, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you could have just flashed your tattoos. Next question, but yeah, what was it? Atomic Fate Metal wants to know, what riff or song inspired you the most in the beginning?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Do you know what? when I was doing the research for the book and I was going through like early albums that I got and stuff like that, I remember I got the album Overkill by Motorhead. And I think that album, with Fast Eddie's playing, I think that had more of an influence on my early songwriting than I realized. You know, I think there's a lot of just fucking Motorhead type stuff in there, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, where I've spoke about this before, like, you know, all the double stops that I do is it's all bluesy, Motorheady and stuff. I mean, I'm not plugged in, but we used to do No Class.
Oh, nice.
And that's them double stop things, right? And those, they feature in a ton of fucking Venom songs. I mean, Welcome to Hell, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Die Hard, you know.
Cool. Yeah, I can see.
Leave Me in Hell. Oh, and you know, right up to the Evil Dead on Ave.
Nice, yeah.
All that stuff, but that all came from the Motorhead thing. And the Motorhead thing came from the Motorhead thing's in A, but if you take it down to G.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
Touch.
Yeah,
it's Touch by ZZ Top, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of that and that, you know, that Motorhead type of.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
You know that kind of rhythm playing.
Can we hear Bloodlust?
Yeah, it's I mean, fucking hell, Bloodlust. I don't even know where that came from. That sort of galloping type of thing.
Yeah.
And even, you know, Witching Hour, that tremolo thing there, that I had no idea what I was doing.
No, she just picked it up, kind of thing.
It just happened.
Yeah,
everything just fucking happened, you know. So, you know, there was no way I could. I mean, I suppose playing, because we used to play No Class, Green Man Alishi, which is actually a Peter Green song, the Priest covered.
Wow, yeah, of course, I know.
And God of Thunder. We used to do God of Thunder as well. So they were the 3 cover versions that we used to do. So I think if you look in amongst those 3 songs, there's a lot of stuff that I went on to sort of write with. But it's funny, I did an interview 2 days ago and they asked pretty well the same question.
Did they?
And the thing that opened the door for me was a book by a guitarist that I'd never heard of. And I got this in late 70s, this book. And I learned the power chord and then the first position of the pentatonic scale. And I learned that from this book. And the book was written by a guitarist who I'd never heard of. But that guitarist went on to record one of the greatest 80s rock albums ever. With another guy, and it was the album's called Hughes and Thrall. It was Pat Thrall, the guitarist, and Glenn Hughes.
Nice.
Fucking hell, what an album! But he wrote a book. Pat Thrall wrote a book when he was a young guitarist, and that's where I learned my power chord and my pentatonic scale. As soon as I had that, and I could move up and down, and I knew I could go up and down this 5-note scale, I was trying to write my own songs. And the first song I ever wrote for Venom was Red Light Fever.
Oh, nice. Good.
The very first one.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, you go back and you listen to those albums. Again, I've said this a million times. If you want to analyze those songs, it's all blues and rock and roll riffs, blues progressions. There is, I think, between the first few singles and the first 2 albums, there isn't a flattened fifth in there. You know, the stuff down, boom, boom, you know, that flattened fifth. There is no single one in there. I didn't even know what a fucking flattened fifth was.
No. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. So there is a lot of blues influence even on Venom. I guess that's not something people would instantly connect.
Oh,
Blues and
I tell you what, there's a lot of blues influence and there's a lot of swing influence. My father was into
right.
swing band, into the big band, Glenn Miller and stuff. And one of the things, again, writing the book and analysing stuff, like Angel Dust, that bam, bam, bam,
Yeah.
that swing music.
Of course.
When
Yeah.
those, bah, 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 those horn sections doing those
Yeah.
accents, and there's a lot of that I did in Venom songs as well.
Yeah.
Those sort of offbeat accents. They're not strictly on the beat.
No.
So there's a lot of swing element in there as well. And I thought, because my dad was playing that music constantly in the house when he was at home, did it subconsciously go in?
Yeah.
And then come out again when I started writing. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, if it did, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's funny how things do stick. Yeah, yeah. Right, we've got so Idris wants to know new Venom Inc. album coming anytime soon.
Well, just as we were speaking there, I got a message through from Tony saying, "Oh, I've just changed one of the lyrics."
Oh, nice. That's good. There you go. Coming along then.
Yeah, there's 24 songs written.
All right.
He's just sent me another message to say he's uploading another one.
Oh, nice. That is a lot of songs. Wow, cool.
So yeah, 24 songs written. 12 chosen for the album.
Oh, wow.
And I'm receiving vocal files as we speak. So the one he's just sending me now will be number 6.
Oh, nice. How do you pick the final cuts? Do the ones you cut often go on another album, or is it kind of you start afresh with each album? And
I don't know what we're going to do with the 12, because there's so much. Out of the 24, there's a lot of really strong stuff, So what I did was I sent him I sent a list of what I considered to be the strongest 12.
Yeah.
And Tony was like, "Yep, I'll go with that." And I was like, "All right, okay." There was no debate. There was no, "Oh well, what about this one?" But even now, when I'm listening to the other 12, I'm listening and I'm thinking, "Oh, that one. I don't know." But it's then, what do I replace? What do I take out of the 12 there?
Yeah.
It's like doing a set list, for when we do a live set list, it's fucking difficult because, we would get hung, drawn, and quartered if we didn't play black metal, Witch in Hour, Countess Battery, Don't Burn the Witch. Everybody wants to hear those songs. But, you always get people going, "Oh, well, why don't you play this? Why don't you play that?" And me doing the Facebook playthroughs, I've rediscovered, Nightmare and Mystique and Heaven's on Fire and stuff like that, so they'll probably go into the set at some point. But for Arve, I had wrote, it was about 22, 25, something like that. And I remember there was a project window called V Inc. 015, and that was demo 15.
Oh,
out of that one project window, there was 3 songs made the album. Metal We Bleed being one of them. I can't remember the other 2.
Yeah.
But all the rest of it, I think there's probably 2 or 3 riffs or sections which I've resurrected for this new album.
I get you. Yeah.
The rest I've just pressed the delete button on and went, "That's it. You're done. You're out of here."
Cool.
You didn't make it the first time, so
That's
I'm quite ruthless when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm. It's been different doing it this way because I'm a lone wolf when it comes to writing. I'll come in this studio and I shut the door and I write. But when it comes to doing the vocals, Tony's always here in the studio with me. Like when we did Arve, he came over for 10 days.
Wow.
We recorded all the vocals in those 10 days, and we did a first preliminary mix, which I then created a template for the rest of the album from. But this time with lockdown and the pandemic, It's he's remotely sending me files now. So
Okay, yeah.
and it's like, when Tony's a great friend, but when I put a producer's head on and I'm listening to his vocals and I'm going, oh, if he had been over there in that vocal, if he had been in that vocal booth, I would have went, can we try doing it this way?
Yeah, you need that dynamic. Yeah, I totally.
Yeah. But this time, he's sending the stuff over. But once it's all loaded in and I get a sound for his vocals, then we're going to do exactly what we're doing here. We'll do sort of remote, like the Skype thing or whatever.
That's awesome.
Just get some ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I think we're on to. Right, this guy had a lot of questions. You might even be able to read them yourself, but I've got them written down if not. If there's any you want.
Holy shit.
I know, he must be a mega fan here.
Weirdest reaction from a Christian or grandmother.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we had a few of them. We had a guy. It was actually on the Live 90 video, and we recorded at the Marquee, and we had some videos and interviews, in the afternoon to do. So it was the usual rock brigade coming in and doing the interviews and all that. And then this guy turns up in a suit and tie, carrying the Venom albums, and he was just Bible bashing, and it was like, the stupidest thing was he said, you have backward messages on this album. He held up Welcome to Hell, right?
All right.
He says, you've got backward messages on this album. And I went, whoa. He says, how fucking obvious do you want this, right? Our first single was called In League with Satan.
Exactly,
and we said that forwards.
Yeah.
The first album's called Welcome to Hell, and there's a fucking pentagram on the front.
That's it.
You don't need to put anything backwards.
No.
But the funniest thing was, he also had a copy of Primeval, I believe. On there is a track called Blackened Other Priests.
Right.
At that time, we had a guitarist with us called Al Barnes. So this day in the studio, gave Al a piece of paper and said, go in the vocal booth and read that. And he's like, seriously? Right. Yep, go on, do it. Right. So he went in, he read it, then we slowed it down, turned it backwards, added loads of effects and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And what he actually said was, Postman Pat.
Right, really? There you go.
We were like, yeah, go on, turn that backwards, you fucking idiots.
Yeah. So you were never subliminal, that's for sure. It's pretty straightforward what you were.
Well, that's it. You're standing there going, oh, you've got backward messages on there.
Yeah.
Turn around, mate. What's it called?
Yeah. What else was this guy wanting to know? He was wanting to know, where did you get your stage clothes in the 80s?
Oh, we made everything.
Really?
We made everything, yeah. There was
Nice.
in Newcastle, there was the Mayfair Rock Club. Now, if you join up to my Patreon, you'll see all this, and I narrate through all these places.
Do it, guys.
But anyway, quickly, there was the Mayfair Rock Club, and then down the street from the Mayfair Rock Club, there was a leather shop. And we used to go in there and just buy leather and studs and all kinds of stuff. Or if we had an old leather jacket, we would cut it up and make armbands out of it. We couldn't afford stage clothes. Everything. That whole Hammersmith Odeon thing was homemade. Hammersmith Odeon, the Seventh Days of Hell, 1984. The whole thing, even the stage was homemade.
Cool.
The ramps, we had the ramps made, and I remember painting those ramps in a friend's garden as the truck pulled up to take them down to Hammersmith Odeon.
That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, it's funny.
Stage clothes all made.
Yeah, quite similar to Priest then. I remember when I interviewed KK, he said he used to put studs in everything. He'd be hammering studs into his guitar or his Strats or whatever it might be. It's got to be done. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right, we're nearly at the end of these. So we've got, was the main drive behind the Pure Speed, or what was the main drive behind the Pure Speed? Was it consumption of angel dust?
I think it was having a drummer that couldn't keep time.
That's great. There you go.
No, we had the whole louder, faster, heavier type of fucking mantra.
Yeah.
But when you listen to Welcome to Hell now, it's pretty fucking tame. By
It's great.
everything is, everything is. But you've got to remember it was of its time,
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I remember reading a review that just said, "Fucking hell, Witching Hour! That track is the fastest thing we've ever heard." And it's like, but I do think, sometimes, it can be speed for the sake of speed. Like, how fast can we do it? It tends to lose all its power and groove and everything once it's like so. But even now, let's have a look. I'll give you a sneak preview. You're recording this, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Where are we? There we are. Let's have a look. This is one of the tracks from the new album.
Awesome.
I'm just going to skip through bits and pieces.
Yeah, no worries.
So there you go.
That is some speed. Cool, that's an exclusive there. Thank you.
So we're still sort of going fast, but I
very much.
Yeah, well, when I wrote that one, I like dynamics in a song.
Yeah.
So you heard that, with the toms bound,
Many elements,
everything
so
rolling
elements.
along,
Yeah.
and then you get the staccato of the snare
Yeah,
drum,
really nice.
and then it kicks in. But when the vocals come in, everything drops out. So it's just a hanging note with a little bit of shimmer and cymbals, and the vocals take over, and then it drops straight back into that speed pattern again. But then it drops out again for the second half of the vocals. So it's dynamics.
Yeah.
Because what I don't like in a song is when a song just goes. If that's a heart monitor, you're dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a flat line. I like it. I like it when it's it's peaks and troughs and everything.
Sure.
So you get dynamics within the song, and that's what I always try and achieve. And I always try and achieve as well a section of a song which an audience can sing.
Yeah,
and that then makes it their song.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really cool. I love that. That sounded so cool. That did so many different elements you could hear just in that few seconds. It was I think people are going to be very excited now.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think I've got one more question. So this is again from guitarist Pricey Black Winter. The funniest moments on tour. So I guess that's with either Venom or Venom Inc. or whatever, really. Any memories? Funniest memories.
Funniest thing on tour. God. Oh God. I did an interview. It was last week or the week before, and I did this interview for this guy who was good friends with a vocalist called Killjoy, who was with Necrophagia.
Right.
And Killjoy sadly passed away. He had a heart attack just before I had mine, and he didn't survive. But me and Killjoy, we met on a tour. Necrophagia was supporting Venom Inc., and we were all on the same bus together.
Yeah.
And I don't take well to people at all. Right, I'm always very guarded.
Yeah, that's fair.
But there's something about Killjoy where we just connected, and I've got a great photograph of me and him outside a cinema with a fucking Predator thing behind us and everything. It was the last photograph we had taken. But I remember him getting up one morning on the bus, and he was complaining about his toothpaste. Bear in mind, we had been on tour now for 2 weeks. So every morning he's getting up and he's walking down the bus brushing his fucking teeth, right? And there's just this brown sludge coming out of his mouth, right?
Oh no!
So it's like, what the fuck is it? So anyway, this morning he gets up, and bearing in mind, bless him, Killjoy was pretty well drunk every night.
Yeah.
And he gets up this morning, he comes down, he went, "This fucking toothpaste, man." Everybody's like, "What?" You know? He said, "I got this to come on tour with." He said, because he used to buy all this organic stuff and be very, very earth conscious and stuff, you know? So he had been into Walmart, and he says, "All I seen was organic." So we're like, right. So he says, "Organic toothpaste. Great. Right. Excellent. Right." He says, "I was wondering why it tastes like fucking shit." It was in the pet section, and it was dog toothpaste.
Oh no!
He had been for 2 weeks. He'd been brushing his teeth with this fucking meat paste. It was dog toothpaste, right? But I mean, the next stop in Walmart, I remember I went and I bought him a collar and a lead.
Yeah, that's right.
Quickie toy, you know. And then from that moment on, he was never allowed on the couch on the bus again. It was like, "Hey, off the furniture, mate," you know.
That's true.
Well, that's pretty tame. But other things, there's probably things we can't mention. But I mean, some of the funniest things were like crew related, because I mean, fucking hell, some of those guys you've got to tip your hat to some of these crew guys. Are like, you know what it is? Those are the people who they make the shows happen. You know, I mean, if you're lucky enough to have a crew with you, you're not a hero. You know, yes, everybody pays their fucking and they buy the ticket with your name on. Yeah. But without those guys behind the scenes,
that's true.
Nothing happens. And those guys have been through hard times on this pandemic as well.
Hey, this is Satchel from Steel Panther. You're listening to Metal Stream Radio.